I'm Marco Pease. This is William Young here at Grapplers Elite, and we're going to show you some side control basics. So, side control. We've covered mount, and we've covered back control, which are considered superior dominant positions to side control. But side control is still a dominant position. If you talk about being able to hurt someone from side control, I can submit them far better than they can submit me. I can strike, elbow, knee, different things far better than they can do to me. The downside to side control is it often needs a lot more arm use, and so sometimes it's harder to attack. Whereas in mount, you can sit up and, if you're punching, you can really rain down. Back control that has very high successes, but a lot of people love side control because there are so many options. A lot more than mount and back control. There's so many things you can do, so much mobility, but it really doesn't have a higher success rate for finishing. So, side control. One of the difficulties about teaching side control is there are so many possibilities of what can be done, and they're right. You can hold side control in a lot of different ways. So this video, the idea is to give you some principles and a starting point, and then from there, you've got to understand in side control, you constantly have to adjust. Otherwise, you're going to be off kilter, and they have opportunities to escape. Some principles. I don't want him getting his legs up between him and I. Otherwise, I'm not in side control. I don't want his arms between us as much as possible, and I want to put my weight, keep it centered on him. So those are some good principles. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by putting my weight right center. And what I want to do to start off is I'm going to turn my body so that I'm narrow, which again takes my flat body and turns it and puts a more focused weight right into the middle of his torso, okay? And so to do this, let's show my legs. I'm gonna extend the leg closest to his leg out. I'm gonna be on my toes, you can see that. My other leg, I'm gonna go ahead and come up flat-footed. Again, there's a lot of variations to this that are absolutely correct. Sometimes I like to be up close to his face, but you'll notice none of my weight is on the ground. I'm pushing with my feet to push my weight on him, but I'm all sitting on him. My arms, generally speaking, I'm gonna have them in opposite corners of this torso that I'm holding down. So right here, I'm gonna have my arm at this hip. I'll usually come under this arm. And this one can be under at this shoulder, and I might come under the head, just like this. This arm is actually quite useful. I can do it. I can use this arm to do a lot of different things. I can hit him with it. I can take it out to attack. If I need to hold more, I can go behind the head, clasp. I can use my shoulder to press in, but all my weight sits on him. Common mistake is people will rest on their elbows. I don't want to. I want to rest all entirely on him. Okay, so this is a good point. Now, I can do the exact same thing in reverse. So I can take this and turn my body the other way. I'll rotate you a little bit, Will. Okay, so now I have, instead of my right ribs, I have my left ribs in the center of his body, which means I switch to my legs. So now the leg closest to his leg, I'm flat-footed, and I'm up on my toes, and I should be able to switch back and forth as I need to. Now you'll notice I also switch my arms. So instead of being here and at this corner, I bring this arm across and come under his arm, and I turn my body, and this arm's the more free one, and it can go down at this corner, down by the hip, to block his legs or different things, or to attack in different ways. Okay, now common mistake as I move is I get off center. So you'll notice I'm staying right there. I'm not rolling across his body, but instead I actually adjust so I move. Next thing I want you to think about is angles. I can be at almost any angle. All the way. And so as you're learning side control, keep those principles in mind. Try to put a more narrow focus on his body. Right in the center is ideal. And if I can turn my body, you don't always have to, if I can turn my body, I can put more weight on him, hold him better, and adjust constantly so you stay here. If I get moved down to his hip, he can actually sit up. Watch this. He can sit right on up, okay? Don't push me off, just sit up, no. Even without posting, look at that. He can sit up almost all the way up before he even has to run into me. If I end up way up on his head, though it may be uncomfortable on his head, I'm really not holding him, and with a little bit of adjusting, he's gonna slip out. So remember, I wanna keep that here. Angle, I can go anywhere all the way around. You adjust your hands to have the best control. Okay, I can pressure into his head with my hip. I can move where I need to. You know, another variation, most people don't consider it side control, but I'm gonna just lump it right onto this, is knee on belly. I put my knee right up on him. This is definitely a variation, and I can post my other leg out. Now ideally this is actually put right up on the sternum, but most of the time when I'm practicing with people, I'm more across their belly just because, not to be so rough on them, but again, ideally, I post that right up on his sternum, right in the center. Okay, wouldn't you say? Usually have a collar or a head, but I can move quite quickly. You can even kneel up on the face, but I'm not gonna do that. But I can move. And so that's another little variation you want. Another variation is a head and arm. I don't love this, and I'm not gonna get into it with great depth, but I do wanna mention with the head and arm hold, you've got to keep this arm tight and your head down. You've got to make it hard to hook the leg or the head, and you got to sit that weight on them without pushing it up. But I like to be very much under this arm. I highly recommend you don't let them get under your arm. Okay, so stay under that arm for the most part, but that is a possible variation that you may have to use in some situations. Coming to your knees is fine, especially if I need to sit up or I'm moving. But keep in mind, I want a wide base with my knees. See how wide they are? Never want this. And I want to keep, generally speaking, my hips very low. So I sit back on my heels. Okay? So those are some things. What I recommend is you just practice moving around in side control. So get on, kind of move, slide around, try put up knee on belly, move around a little bit, try going more north-south, look around all the way to the other side, and play with that. Now, one other thing I want to mention is this arm right here will give you grief. Okay, so his arm posting in here is a constant issue. Okay, he wants to keep my weight off of him. He wants to put that in as a wedge, and it's not very hard for him to get it in. So you're always going to be battling that to some degree. Let me show you what you can do with your body. So if he's kind of pushing up into my hip with his elbow, I can take my leg that's underneath and scoot it right under. So all I'm doing is taking that leg, sliding under, and I press with my hips and kind of pressure that arm out. And I'm trying to sit up so you can see it really well. Normally, often you'll need your arm as well. So from right here, I can come right down to his elbow and help rotate my body. As I rotate my torso, it helps lift his arm, and I can slide under with more ease. Which can lead to other things we'll deal with. Side control, again, there's a lot of variation. I recommend you get a partner that'll work with you. Partners, let me say this. Please don't just lie here like this. That's not helpful for them. Get your arms in. If they want to move your arms, allow them to move their arms as they're learning this position. But don't sit here like this. Okay? Give them a little bit of light, live feel as they're learning the position, don't just flop down on the ground. All right. Again, I'm Michael Pease here with William Young at Grapplers Elite. Until next time.